Look, we've all been told that the key to improving our lives lies somewhere between self-discipline and a good luck charm. But let's face it, the big decisions that affect us aren't really made by us. And honestly, maybe that's for the best. The folks at the top, they've got bigger fish to fry. We're all out here sweating the small stuff while they're strategizing how to run an entire country like it's their turn at Monopoly. So, if we want to get a better sense of what's really going on, we need to stop looking at things from street level and start thinking like the people who pull the strings. Imagine you're playing a high-stakes strategy game, but instead of managing a group of settlers, you're in charge of an entire country's fate. You don't see the world through the eyes of a citizen. You see it as a giant chessboard, and your every move affects the global landscape. This is how leaders think when making decisions that affect not just their people, but the entire world. Now, everyone loves to talk about America's status as the most powerful nation on earth, tech innovation, wealth, military might. But the minute someone in the comments mentions they're American and struggling, it's like, okay, so the 300 million people in the country don't get to be part of the big plan, huh? Well, here's the deal. From where I'm standing, I can't even see you. You're just a pixel on the map to me. This is exactly how big players in the geopolitical game think. And in this game, the most immediate threat to your empire isn't some random guy trying to steal your lunch money. It's the neighboring country gearing up for war while you're just trying to get your factories in order. So let's zoom out and take a look at the real heavyweights of the nuclear world. We'll start with the smallest of the bunch and work our way up to the real powerhouses. Buckle up. Honorable mentions. Let's kick off with some countries that may not have nukes, but they're still pretty formidable. First up, Iran. While they're not exactly flaunting a nuclear arsenal, their uranium enrichment process has been pretty suspicious lately. They're doing this in a mountain bunker, which is pretty much the international equivalent of, I'm not saying it's suspicious, but it's suspicious. It's alarming enough to get the attention of the US military, but right now, they're just an impending threat, not the real deal. We're watching though. Then there's Saudi Arabia, no nukes, but they're investing heavily in defense and have deep ties to the US. The big play here is their grand strategy to evolve from an oil-dependent nation to the economic heart of the Middle East. They're building a city taller than the Empire State Building, which sounds amazing, until they paused it and suggested, actually, let's turn this thing into an AI center. But hey, it's Saudi Arabia, they do what they want. Now, the real power players, number 7, Israel. Israel doesn't openly flaunt nukes, but if push comes to shove, they've got the capacity to use them. They've made it clear that their nukes are a last resort option, but in the meantime, their political maneuvering in the Middle East is a sight to behold. They've been running a geopolitical chess game while keeping the world's eyes glued to their moves. Number 6, North Korea. With about 50 nuclear warheads, North Korea is probably the most unpredictable player on the board. While their missiles might be a bit off target, they're still terrifying. Kim Jong-un is the kind of guy who doesn't just fire missiles. He makes sure each one is personally aimed by him. Meanwhile, his soldiers are busy dancing to the free world internet after getting shipped off to Russia. Talk about a mixed bag of military prowess and chaos. Number 5 and 4, Pakistan and India. These two nuclear neighbors are more than just geographical rivals. They're constantly flexing their military muscle. Pakistan's got a cozy relationship with China, which helps them secure access to the Middle East. Meanwhile, India's aligned with the West, which gives them more access to global trade routes. Both countries hold about 200 nukes each, so things are tense. Top 3 superpowers. Now, the top 3 are where it gets real interesting. Number 3, Russia. Russia still holds a hefty 6,000 nukes, making them a nuclear giant. But their military strength? It's been a bit of a letdown, especially considering how poorly their invasion of Ukraine turned out. Russia's power comes from its vast natural resources and its strategic location, controlling access to the Arctic, the Mediterranean, and land routes to China. But despite having more nukes than anyone else, Russia's military performance has been underwhelming, and they've become increasingly dependent on China for trade. Number 2, China. China's rise from poverty to becoming the world's second largest economy in just 40 years is nothing short of incredible. They've got 1.4 billion people, a rapidly growing military, and an industrial capacity that's unmatched. China has become a dominant force, particularly in manufacturing and infrastructure. Their next big move? Taking Taiwan? It's a strategic necessity for them to maintain control over the Pacific Ocean and secure access to the global tech industry. And with their massive influence on trade routes, China is definitely one to watch. Number 1, the West, NATO. You knew this was coming. The West, led by NATO and its allies, is still the world's most powerful bloc, and it's been that way since the end of World War II. The US dollar remains the world's reserve currency, and the financial influence of the West is second to none. This economic dominance allows the West to pull levers of global trade and influence like no other region can. However, recent geopolitical shifts, like the rise of China and the retreat of American influence, have started to make things a bit messy. The US military is strong, and the West remains a global powerhouse, but it's unclear where things are headed next. So, what does all this mean? The world is in a state of flux. The superpowers are shifting, and while some nations are making bold moves, others are still figuring out what to do with all their nukes. But no matter where you are in the world, one thing is clear. The game of global dominance is far from over. And in case you didn't notice your role in all of this, it's just to watch and hope the light bulbs stay on.